Recall when we looked at our calculator, we saw some functions in the trig menu that maybe you weren't sure what to do. So if we look at our trig button, we see sine, cosine, tangent, but then in the front row the top row we also see cosecant, secant, and cotangent. Those are the reciprocal functions, and we're going to talk about those today. More on the bottom row later. So what are reciprocal functions? Let's write down the three of them. Cosecant, secant, and cotangent. Cotangent is the reciprocal of tangent, which makes perfect sense, but you're not going to like these other two. Cosecant is the reciprocal of sine, and secant is the reciprocal of cosine. The cos don't go together. Cosecant goes with sine and secant goes with cosine, so you're going to have to remember that. So how do we define a reciprocal function? Cosecant, which is abbreviated CSC, cosecant of theta, is 1 divided by sine of theta. If we were drawing and labeling a right triangle and looking at the ratio of its sides, we could also say that cosecant of theta is equal to hypotenuse over opposite instead of opposite over hypotenuse. So let me just show you an example of that. Let's say we have sine of 30. Sine of 30 degrees. You get 1/2. Let's do cosecant of 30 degrees. 2. 1/2 and 2 are reciprocals of each other. So that's what I mean by this would be opposite over hypotenuse. This would be hypotenuse divided by opposite, 2 over 1, which is 2. For secant, it's abbreviated SEC. Secant of theta is 1 over cosine of theta. If we were finding the ratio of two sides for cosine, I wrote that down wrong. For secant, it would be hypotenuse over adjacent. Cotangent is abbreviated COT, and it's 1 over tangent of theta. So we can say cotangent of theta is adjacent over opposite instead of opposite over adjacent. In the next few videos, then, we're going to explore what the graphs of these reciprocal trig functions look like.